Thank you for listening to Serves You Right. My name is Andrew, and today I got a chance to talk to Tiffanie Barriere, also known as the Drinking Coach. Tiffanie got big in the world of bartending and mixology due to One Flew South, awarded the best airport bar in the world by Tales of the Cocktail. That is not her only Tales of the Cocktail award. She did get the 2023 Visionary Award. So super awesome lady. She's going to be a published author soon, and we get to talk about all things bar. So without any further ado, here's Tiffanie, and thank you for listening to Serves You Right. Thanks for joining us on Serves You Right.
Thanks for having me.
I thought long and hard about what to ask you to begin, and I thought I'd kind of lob a softball at you. There are a lot of ways you could take this, but I was wondering what you thought. Where are we as a bar industry today? 6 years past COVID, a lot has changed since you even just started bartending. Where are we? What have we done well? What do we need to work on?
Loaded. Let's come out.
2 hours later. Yeah.
That's going to be the entire conversation this entire time. This community, I think the liquid world has a division currently. We have the bartenders, the gatekeepers, the creatives, we're at the bars. And then we have like the liquid pros, these brands and the ambassadorships and agencies. Just trying to keep up with everything, we've turned a little political over here. I'm an optimist. We've made it a real job, and I'm here for it. It's a real thing. We're standing on business in multiple categories. We are fighting for what makes sense and what is necessary. And we're still drinking. No matter what has happened, we're still consuming beverages in all kinds of ways. It's the excitement about this industry. We're not going anywhere. We will always drink for the rest of our lives, whether it's zero or water, wine, beer, whiskey. We can do it. So I think that we're treading with the times. I think we have just really made a name in a space for ourselves. That bartenders are real folk. We're the pinnacle of the service industry, and we make shit happen.
I like that. The pinnacle of the service industry. Can you expand on that a little bit? Because that rings true to me.
Yeah, 6 years ago, of course, the pandemic. For us, we were where we were, but it was kind of cool for me to notice how many people missed us. Like how the consumer was like, where the fuck is my bartender? They realized, of course you can go home and open up a cookbook and learn how to make whatever you've been working on, or learn how to crochet and learn how to, all the things that we figured out we low-key loved.
All the sourdough bread that was baked. Yeah.
Dude, we were making all kind of shit at home. But the cocktail was a thing that people were like, or a beverage. Of course, wine was what it was, but we saw numbers go crazy high. Permits went nuts. Online bartending became a thing, virtual classes, and people were like, I can do it, but I really want my bartender to do it. It just proved that we're missed for not just the beverage, but just that conversation, that energy, that step away, that seat at the bar. And then, the technique, the martini wasn't the same at home because you didn't know what you were doing.
Sure, yeah. And I mean, even if you knew what you're doing, this is the thing that has blown my mind. The people who like look at the markup in bars and like, it's cheaper to drink at home. It's like, you have a point, but I think you're missing the point of what drinking in a bar is.
Right.
Yeah. You could definitely save money, but you're not spending really that money just for the booze. It's the connection too,
We're not going out to save money. That's the reason we're going out. We're going out to, literally, I'm outside. I'm outside to spend money on an experience and, obviously a transaction, but I'm there for an experience, and that costs. At home, it's just not the same when you make your drink and then you You serve it to yourself, and you're like, oh yeah, that's good.
I do have to say, you actually have a very, I don't know if the word dubious would be the right one, but an honor for this show. You were the first person to encourage me to bring a drink on, which I was like, she is the drinking coach. I think it fits. Unfortunately, it is like 11 and it's my day off. I'm like, I need to be able to get something. So I brought a water. It's a drink. It's
good
a drink.
For you.
Yeah.
Good for you. I've got a toddy actually right now. I'm obsessed right now with flavored teas. I don't really do flavored teas. Usually, an oolong or black or green or jasmine can do no wrong. But I was gifted for Christmas some flavored teas, like peach tea and apricot. I don't know what the flavoring is, but I'm kind of digging it. I'm kind of digging this peach tea vibe. It's delicious. So cheers to you too.
Do you ever find that having this as a job, when you have regular beverages, you almost can't shut off that part of your brain? You're just like, would this be a good infusion? Maybe this would work well in a cocktail.
I suck. I'm sick of myself.
Yeah.
You can't. Yes, I can never turn it off. Everything I look at in the liquid world, even when I watch TV, I look at the background, I look at every bottle. I want to know what's in your hand immediately, and I'm into it. I used to be, pretty pissed off that I would tell myself, Tiffany, don't do it. Just shut up and just just consume it. But then I realized I was around people that were kind of waiting to are you going to say anything? And my dad was a mechanic, and my dad was the kind of guy who would drive with the window down and he could hear the issue on the car. And I'd be like, this guy is dad. It's so weird. But you know what you know. You do what you do.
I mean, I feel like you either resist it or you lean in. Like my dad's the same way, but he was a roofer. And anytime we drove anywhere, he'd be like, I was on that roof. I did that. It was like small town Texas. So it was every roof, but we watched Castaway, and that last scene where I forget exactly what's happening, but it's in the middle of nowhere, Texas is where they filmed it. And I still remember as a kid, my dad go, I roofed that. And it's I don't really remember the scene in the movie, but I remember him saying that.
I know that roof. Yeah. Totally get it. I love that.
I like that, I'm going to guess, because I think if I remember correctly from reading about you, you got your start at Applebee's bartending, right?
Yeah.
Too young, kind of like me. And I'm guessing when you started, you knew pretty quickly, I want to do this. Yeah.
I was in love.
What was it about it? Because it's a question I've asked myself. I can't really articulate it, but I knew I wanted to do it,
3 things that I really loved. And still, I'm a talker, so I can talk all day. I'm very inquisitive. I love talking to strangers. I naturally just want to know what you're doing, where you at. And that was fun. I was also around booze all day. And I not only love to take a sip, I enjoyed giving that sip and watching people just enjoy it. And the money. Money was fun at that age. I was 19, walking into 20, and I'm like, wait a minute. My friends were in college. I was in college-ish. And I was like...
Exactly, yes.
You guys are doing the wrong thing. I was like, this is just exactly... It's what I thought life was supposed to be. I'm supposed to go to work, love it, get paid. Done. And it just completely distracted the calculated 20s life for me. It just took me away.
I hear that. I definitely hear that. I definitely remember thinking I was so cool junior year in college. We go out to eat and I'd pull out a little band of 20s and I was a bar back and I thought I was rich. And now I look back, I'm like, man, I didn't have any money. I was moments from death, but compared to kids living on ramen, I was a king.
Getting it. My to-go box was full. I was eating good. I was buying around. I was,
There was a little bar in Santa Fe called the Matador, and they had $7 shots of Jameson that were doubles pretty much, and just they knew me by name. Then they kicked me out a couple times, but they knew me by name.
Same.
Yeah. So you grew up around people that were big imbibers. What was that like?
It was great. I love it. I can't say I had a bad childhood at all. I had a fantastic... I have a great family. I I celebrating and company and the doors open and we're cooking something and a bottle was just normal. So being able to be around the adults and watch them drink and then, kind of force you to make a sip, just drink that, taste that and just have fun. It was love to me. I love seeing, cases of beer and bottles of big handles of gin and whiskey come in. Not much wine until later on. If it was wine, it was like Boone's Farm or,
Don't knock until you try
which
it.
which made me who I am now in a wine cooler. That's what the ladies were drinking. And I was like, okay. My dad's and my uncles were drinking beers, and I was into beer early. But then when I saw the ladies, pour up the wine cooler, I was like, yeah, okay. I'm right in between it. I have a choice. I have options here. And they were around the same proof. So love was love. I loved it. I still love it. I'm still in a drinking family where you walk in the door, take the shoe off, hug and kiss, and put the bottle on the island or the table or whatever.
Let's commune. Yes.
Yeah.
No, and I feel like that's a much healthier way to do it than a lot of people grow up. It's very European style. They grow up, they have a little bit. It's mostly wine over there, but wine with food, and there's not really that whole like hide it, binge drink on the weekend, and then get into trouble. It's just like this is part of what we do. We're a family, we're a unit. We get together, we share, commune.
Yeah. It's, I'm totally blessed, and some of my family were Christians as well. We still drank. It didn't matter. Jesus made wine, let's do it. Or after church, I need a drink. The elders, of course, held their respect, but everyone else, put that brown bag on the table. Let's get to it.
Right. Yeah. No, and I mean, that is another weird thing that Christianity in America got tied into this like no booze, low booze kind of mentality where like you look at Europe again, like, I mean, the Cistercian monks are the ones who created Burgundy. Like,
yeah.
I mean, they could pray and they could eat and they could drink. And of those three, drinking sounded most fun. So they really got into it.
Yeah.
They helped shepherd all these different traditions, all these different alcoholic, the sacrament. Like
sacrament's a ritual. And that's
bread and wine.
Another 2 hours later for me, but it's a ritual. The spirits they're so respected. They're so honored. And there's some colonization that happened and some weird things that happened that made us, make beverage look the way it is. I will always, my family will, I honor it. And more than just, I'm happy that I'm in the industry. I traditionally, it's a ritual. A spirit, a cocktail is a thing. Whew, thank you. Liquid ancestors. Let's do it. And it's the science behind it too.
No, it is good that you touch on that because of all the possible things we could be talking about, alcohol does have a lot of problematic past. You look at most of the history of like Latin America and any of the different categories down there, any of the rums, anything that you get from, it's like, it's all fraught with a long history of questionable is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Decisions and
Next episode, okay?
Next episode, 2023, you got the Visionary Award from Tales of the Cocktail. What was that like?
Oh, crap. No,
that's a huge award. Yeah.
Wow. Look at me getting a little chill. So I'm still in shock for that. I look up to so many of our peers, adore and just admire so many people with nonprofits and that do, philanthropy work and education on another level and work for a brand. I see so much. And as an independent girly over here, it's like I do everything everyone else does, but just in my lane. And then I, hold the flag of, standing on culture and representation, but heavy on education. I'm a little blend. And I also don't work for a brand and I don't work for a restaurant. I don't work for a bar and chef and I was like, is that a visionary? Is that what it is? And I won't call it imposter syndrome. I just wonder, is that a visionary? And I have my good days where I'm like, yeah, I got the vision, literally, I got the vision. So for my peers to see that and see outside of my personality and my history in the industry, but that I do see forth what's to come and am available for what's to come and for the good and the bad and the challenges. it was kind of cool for a moment. It took me a minute to just accept it.
Sorry to interrupt. We will get right back to Tiffanie. I did want to take just 2 seconds and ask, if you have not had a chance to follow the show, please do. It'd mean the world to me, and to make sure that you don't miss any of the cool upcoming guests I got. All right, here is Tiffanie and Andrew again.
Day of, I did not want to accept it. No one knows this, honestly.
Whoa, yeah.
My cousin and best friend, my cousin and my bestie were there that day in the hotel room, heading down to the awards that night, and I was like, you know what? No, it should be someone else. It should be in your family. Like, psh, psh, like slaps you. Like, shut up. The votes are in. Get your ass up there. And I sat there and drank a bottle of champagne and a half a bottle of chichicapa, and I wrote to the ancestor, "This isn't about me." It was the moment I realized that it wasn't me, and that's why I was having the issue of receiving it. But it was like, this is a moment. I'm a vessel. This is for, all those that came before me and those become. So that's why I said what I said on the speech. And yeah, that day was, the phoenix rising. I was like, all right, it's cool, but it's not me. It's more than me. And onward. Here we go.
And that's interesting. Could you dig into that a little bit more? That, like, you being a vessel, what you said in that speech? Yeah.
Yeah, I just had a hard time saying, way to go, Tiff, and a list of people to thank. I didn't have anyone. I mean, I do. I love everybody out there. Love you. Thank you. Anyone that's helped me, yes. But I didn't think of some speech to like the academies and thank my agent and my best friend. And I didn't have it. And all I could think about was who to really thank. My family, the drinking family I told you about, the cold beers and the opportunity to just drink freely with my family. And then I started thinking about those people of color that I've seen hustle the industry, brand ambassadors that focus on multicultural. My great grandfather worked in cotton fields. Like, I just started thinking of people who did all these things so I could even work in the bar industry. A couple of shiners in my family as well. And I realized, of course, it wasn't me, and being a vessel is just, you ran through me. You're hearing me, and I can just channel it to come on out. And that made me feel better that I could, properly distill, if I may. Or as my cousin
Good
said,
choice of words. Yes.
right? Choice words. My cousin's talking to me and he says, we should decant that. And I was like, where did you come from? Let's just decant this idea. He's not in the industry. But yeah, just to distill everything that's been given to me and stand on who I am in the industry respectfully. That's what I felt like as that vessel, and still do. That's what helps me get through my day, that it's not about me. It's just me on the battlefield.
That's awesome. Why didn't you go into just like a brand ambassadorship? I've seen a lot of people go from the bar to that, but yeah, why'd you go by yourself? Yeah, your face said no. Hell
absolutely
no.
I did try it. I did dip my toe in everything that I thought about bar ownership, and I thought about having a liquid in a bottle. I did do brand ambassadorship. I launched Avion Tequila before it was with Pernod. When it first hit the market all by itself, it was me.
Did you come to Santa Fe by any chance? I think I may have met you, actually, because I remember when that was coming out. Yeah,
we had a lovely launch. It was such a good time. Jamie Evans' wife, Chelsea Pico Evans, was my mentor, my mom at the time, and we were bringing in this tequila, and I had a really good time. I learned a lot of what I use now, bringing in a tequila into the country, but I sucked at it. I was good. I wasn't great. I love the industry. I love liquid too much to just focus on one brand. So that was my first, I was terrible with money. That's a lot of money. And I was like, swipe, 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 swipe. Is this right? Is this wrong? Either I wasn't spending enough money or I would need to spend more money. And that was confusing. And it wasn't my vibe. It was sales versus, kind of a marketing vibe. Chris Patino and may he live well where he is. Patino pulled me aside one time. He came to Atlanta to hang out with me and get me together. And Patino says, "You suck at this, And I was like, Oh my God, tell me. And
It
he's like,
sounds rude, but a kind word.
he's like, you suck. But he didn't mean it in a bad way. He's like, you suck, but you suck not because you're bad at it. You suck because you care too fucking much. You care way too much about like everything. And this is about sales. Your job is to sell stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, thanks. So I took a polite exit. I tried it and it wasn't for me.
Makes sense. For the listener at home who may not know about you, could we go through some of your history just really briefly? I definitely want to talk about One Flew South and make sure they know where you came from and kind of why you became such a big name in the
Oh,
industry.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, casual dining. I have that Cinderella bartender story. I started off in the trenches. Applebee's, went to steakhouse, got my wine and whiskey kind of certification in love, and then had the opportunity to open a craft bar in Atlanta Hartsfield Airport, the biggest and largest airport in the world to date. 20
Busiest
years
too.
plus.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, do the math. If you want to nerd out on the operations of an airport, get into Atlanta Hartsfield Jackson Airport. It is insane. It's a beast. And I had the nerve to run the best airport bar in that beast. We were 365, 7 days a week. The mechanics of a normal bar, just times 10. And by that, I mean the mechanics is.
I have so many questions real fast.
Yo,
like how did you get product in?
yeah.
I just flew last week and like getting myself through TSA.
Yeah, it sucks. Well, the cool thing is we get to order things to your tarmac. So I do have the privilege of ordering things worldwide to come through kind of on a pallet, like a distributor. I don't have distributor visitors. Sales do not come in to see me and taste me on things.
Unless
So
they're flying out. Yeah.
Super difficult for me to go and figure out what new vermouths are out or do my wine tasting. I couldn't do that. And if they did, they were badged by their company for the year. So then that person would come through security with a roller bag of 8 to, whatever many bottles to come in and do a tasting. So that was a challenge. So I felt very shrunk down that I couldn't get, as crazy as I wanted to, but I did. I would make things. It was very tough, but we worked our way around it. Chef had knives tethered to the wall. My paring knives for fruit tethered to the wall. But like bringing the cool bitters in or a crazy fun bottle that I found out was difficult. So we did some trickery. We shipped things to ourselves. We knew folks in other cities who would travel with products or samples.
Sure. Okay.
But we did do decent orders. You had to really like pivot your creativity to, if I wanted to make something an Asian inspired cocktail, I had to literally look at an ordering sheet in Asia and then say, can you ship that to Atlanta with, through our courier? And they could, and it would come in through the warehouse outside of the airport that was like almost a half mile away from us, coming in a box, and then I'd have something new. And it was.
Yeah. I'm just like, I'm trying, because in my head, like, anytime I've wanted to try a cocktail, I just go to the store, buy something, and walk it in. And like, that seems so much. I mean, you have to. You don't have a choice. It's what everyone else at an airport's doing too, I guess.
It was we were, the casual dining places are not doing that. And there's not many airport bars and restaurants that have, a swanky wine list or an insane bourbon shelf. And I did. But once the word got out who we were, then the outside conversation was happening. And then people were dying to come and sell us. And we would just go to the warehouse and, pardon me, go to the warehouse and we would open boxes that were just gifts. And we'd receive cases of Orange Swift's newest drop. We'd get cases of new Compass Box bottle. We were just getting brands that were luxury, but also knew if you were at One Flew South, you're being sold. And so we became this iconic place to not only discover, but it's like, wait a minute, they have a wine list with $800 wines. Why? And the answer was, why not? We could do it. And, we hustled it out, but it was very challenging. But you pivot, you figure it out, and you're like, we got to make it happen. And sales just skyrocketed after.
Yeah. And I mean, from a like marketing standpoint and a like, how to break into a bunch of different markets, a great way to do that would be a really highly acclaimed airport bar that has tons of people from all sorts of places flying through it, because you get it's like taking over a list in Las Vegas. Everyone in the US is flying there. So like if you get a foothold there, everyone's going to ask for it when they go home, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Everyone's
That's cool.
there internationally, and everyone is on expense.
Hey, I didn't even think about that.
Just tossing that out there, little brag there. Everyone is flying to work. I mean, you'd be very surprised how many people fly to work. Shout out to everyone who flies to work. People
Hmm.
are leaving on a Sunday, coming back on a Thursday. I didn't know that there's a whole world of people who fly to work, and people are not always flying for vacation. The majority of passengers you see now in this current time are flying to work. And so being able to entertain them and treat them was an honor. And they had privileges in Sky Mile rooms and what have you, but the selection was mediocre. So we were giving them exactly what they wanted or the boss wanted, and they were entertaining. We'd seen meetings and matrimonies, and we've seen it all at an airport
Oh,
bar. It does never gets old.
yeah. I'm assuming that you've also probably seen some very stressed, angry, unhappy people. Just
Yes.
like, oh, flight's canceled again. Been flying
Yeah.
for 24 hours.
You
Yeah.
see that, but when you are that respite, it's like we take it away as soon as you walked in the door. They just would walk in and be like, oh, wait, I've walked into a restaurant. And our chef and I would always remind people we are a restaurant and bar. There just happens to be an airport outside of us. We are not an airport restaurant bar. They're outside of us. And that would, pardon me, that would just, people would just go, oh my gosh. And then the service would start from there, from the linen to the water glasses to the menu and then people would just literally relinquish. They would just give it to us, and we were like, got it. And it was on from there. Give us 3 minutes. That's what we did. And the first question we asked you was, what time's your flight? And people would, and we'd go, no, seriously, what time is your flight? And they would just check them. It was a part of our service, and they would look at it, and we knew how to serve you by your time.
Cool.
Good times.
That's interesting. I have one more question, and then I swear we'll get away from this.
It's okay. It's a
No,
good topic. Everyone
it's
wants to know about that.
no, yeah, and I mean, you won best airport bar in the world, so like you were doing something right. How did you get to work? Like, did you have to go through TSA? How does that work? Are you
Yeah.
allowed to say?
Yeah. The same way that you get to the airport. We're parking. There's no employee parking. So we're
That
parking in a
sucks.
deck.
Okay, sorry.
There was like a kind of a cool deck that we all kind of knew. You want to get like as close as you can. We're parking, paying $12 a day. You're getting on the shuttle. Our parking we chose like because I was on international, so we parked on international, much lighter weight coming in. You parked, you got in a shuttle that was just a mile up. You got in, you went through security with normal passengers, but we had a badge, so they would see you and kind of pass you through.
Hmm.
Nothing's in your pockets. You don't.
Yeah.
I mean, shoes came off. Did shoes come off then? Yeah, shoes came off to get
How
through.
how did you get wine keys in?
We
Because
did it.
how did you open bottles?
They were shipped. Yeah, they were shipped to us. We had wine keys shipped to us, and then there's a few wine keys that have just no knife. They have that small, small, small raise on the inside, but they shipped that to us. We'd have purveyors ship us. The ones that ship us are I forget the company we use, but all of our glassware and our silverware shipped us wine keys as well, and those lasted all of I don't know the way what key does 3-4 days, and we're like, where's the key? So we
Exactly.
tether
Yeah.
those down as well to like lock it in, and you'd work a full day, and you'd leave with all the other folks that work at Chick-fil-A and the donut shop and the coffee shop. We'd all be leaving at 10, 11 o'clock at night, all the workers, and you go back out and you pay for parking and you head on home, and you did it every day. Nothing validated.
Weird. Of course. Yeah.
Never.
No. So I had to ask about the wine key thing because I have lost so many wine keys to TSA. And
Yeah.
so I won't go into it because I don't want to get this kid in trouble, but I know someone who once, so he's not supposed to tell people, but he's told some people. Yeah. They do hire contractors to try and break through TSA. Like they go and see if they'll let them in without a booking pass. And this kid did get into an airport once. Like, I mean, he's the perfect one to choose for this. He's very believable, very personable. It's like, my friend's there. I don't have his number. Please let me in real fast, blah, blah, blah. And every time I lose a wine key, I think, they let him in. They let him in. I can't get a wine key. Like, you can't do anything with this.
Yeah. Sometimes. I mean, I've only seen it happen once where I've had my wine key, and because they know us, someone's like, stop it, because they've seen where we work and they know that we're not a threat. That's happened one time, but that's like, a federal offense for them, for them to do that, because I could lose my shit at work one day and it's going to be with that little bitty blade.
That's all it takes. Yes. You can start opening some real big bottles of wine.
Yeah.
All right. I was hoping we could talk about how you make cocktails and kind of your strategy and how you incorporate storytelling. Like, that's a big topic. So any way you want to go, and let's imagine we're making a cocktail together. How would you go about it?
Oh crap. Okay. I'm a themey girl. I love a story. So if we were creating a cocktail, I'd most likely ask you, like in bartender fashion, what's the day like? What are we doing it for? Is there a why? What's the why? So we can get the why.
Well, we're celebrating, I got this awesome guest named Tiffanie on my show, and I want something to celebrate after we get done. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I heard about Tiffanie. Let's dig in about her, but I know that she loves things stirred and boozy. So let's focus on something stirred and boozy. She's not a sour girl. She's sweet. So let's focus on that. She comes from this part of the world. She's a little country girl. So let's think about the ingredients that come from that space. Let's focus on some rum. Let's think about different sweeteners outside of white sugar, brown sugar, sorghum, molasses for our sweetener to kind of hold it together. But then we're thinking of stirred and boozy. So maybe we should just season the ice with this sweetener. I'm thinking something in a coupe glass or something on a big rock. Did I mention stirred and boozy again? Did I mention? And that can be white spirits or dark spirits. And then I kind of just play around there. I like to create a cocktail from who I'm creating it for. Found that very safe for me in competitions. I found it very safe to just create, because I love to do big rabbit holes on history or a person or a moment. My mind just goes immediately to let's find 5 adjectives about this person and do an ingredient to match the adjective. Like today's Mardi Gras, today's Fat Tuesday.
Today's Fat Tuesday?
It's Fat Tuesday.
What? No, I did not mean to do that. Well,
today's Fat Tuesday.
Wait, actually, you chose the date. Never mind. No.
Yeah, I did. But funny enough, before our call today, because I'm a theme girl, sorry to go off to the left. That's my squirrel mind right now.
That's perfect. Yeah.
I love Tuesdays for a lot of reasons. I love tacos, and Taco Tuesday has never left. If I don't do anything all the time, it's Taco Tuesday. I love Taco Tuesday. It's going to be whatever taco. I'm either going to go out or have it at home. But today I was in the freezer getting ready to take out my meat to make tacos. And I was like, shit, it's Fat Tuesday. Sunday, I made gumbo, a little okra gumbo. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just have gumbo. But today's also the first day of the new Chinese New Year. And I'm like, well, I want dumplings too. So I was going to text my cousin and be like, is it weird that I'm going to have a cup of gumbo with a taco and some dumplings on the side? And she's like, I think it's perfect. So if that were to happen in a cocktail.
Yes.
You just got to you have to make the POV what you want, and I tell stories all the time, and you got to reel it in. And that's where I start. Like, how can I make this make sense, but end on the story? So,
I'm gonna take what you gave me there and see if I can send it back. So what I heard, and it's not a bad way to kind of go about it. You start with a question like, who are you? What's this for? And that will lead you kind of into the universe we're in. Okay, you're celebrating. You had someone named Tiffanie on your show. Tiffanie is someone that doesn't like sour. She's sweet, boozy. Okay, let's do stirred and boozy. And then you start looking for inspiration in the particulars, the 5 adjectives. And then Then you start letting your squirrel mind go off to gumbo and to tacos. But maybe I'll sum up that end part is you're looking for inspiration wherever you can find it, because you'll find a story somewhere like today happens to be Fat Tuesday. Okay, maybe there's a way we can go at it from that angle.
Yes,
Okay.
nailed it. I am always looking for the story. The story is the creation. I believe I think I work backwards than some of my peers. I work with what's the delivery? Who's it for, clearly, but what's the delivery? So when I put it down, I've got the cliff notes of like, it's this because of that for this. It's the why, the why, the why. And people always nod their head like, okay. So while you're drinking it, you're thinking about the story and the why. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah. You are literally, I've made it make sense for you. It's kind of
Yeah. If nothing else, it's clearly not half-assed. There's something there.
and there's some simplicity as well. I'm quick to do things that as we always, as bartenders do, we tweak. So I'm quick to do very simple cocktails. I'm quick to do something that it's a variation or something reminiscent. Back when I was on the bar, I would ask often, "What did you have yesterday?" Or "What have you not had in a while?" And that's a hard one to get. But some people are like, "You know what? I haven't had it," and I'm like, "Well, easy." Such a great selling moment and such a way to serve that they haven't had that in so long. I'm like, well, then that's what we're doing. Funny enough, it was always the margarita. I haven't had a margarita in a minute because they associate it with the season. And I'm like, well, we're doing it. And then we're going to tweak it to where you're going or the season. And yeah, I like to roll with whatever the intuition and the universe are giving me and the ending story.
That's cool. You've judged a lot of contests too, and I'm wondering, do you find that people that do successfully when you judge kind of approach it the way you would, or do you see other people being successful in different ways?
They're successful in other ways.
Okay.
I don't. Last night I witnessed a competition here in the city who did do it the way I would do it, and I was just like in tears, like, yes, that's what we want to see. You got it. I really was like, I get it. I text that person this morning, like, you. That's what I want to see, and I do have the pleasure to judge and have judged everything from MIB to world class, which is top list right now. I get to head to some beautiful countries right now and watch world class become what it is and really focus on cultural storytelling.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's badass. You put your foot in your mouth. I was like, I would love to, and there you go. They're like, well, you're on the list now. Yes. So really getting people to dig into that, to my squirrel mind, but in through their own squirrel mind, because my generation of bartenders was like knowing the product, knowing obviously proper dilution, knowing technique. That makes you a bartender. If you story told, that's cool because maybe your bar could do that, but to present is another ball game. Like it's presenting, and we as bartenders naturally don't present. We create. We show up and we do give, but like presenting I was into it. So I haven't seen a lot, but they're on the way. And those that see me coming, they're like, I gotta have a story for Tiff. And I'm like, damn right. Tell me a story. You better tell me something, because sometimes, and I mean this in all love, listeners, sometimes your drink isn't good. And I need you to make me understand why these ingredients are happening. And maybe that story triggered another part of my senses, and I'm sipping it like, okay, all right, I can work with that. But or the dilution's off or what have you, but if you really take the time and tell the story, because it's your story, you created it, tell me why. And hearing your portions and your ingredient is boring. What else can you talk about?
I'm not the strongest presenter. Do you have any pointers? Anything you could tell me, like hang out with you for longer?
Play pretend.
Okay.
Play pretend. Like, be silly. I can present pretty well just because I'm being silly. It's a defense mechanism. Because I don't, oh my gosh, a circle moment here. Because my peers presented with the science of spirits. I didn't. That's not my style. I'm not going to tell you about
molar mass or anything.
I'm not doing it. But that's, every time I see it, I'm like, God, that's so cool. I am not that person. So to defend that, I just go into pure bartender mode. And I talk about each ingredient and why, whether it's the color of the rainbow or whatever. I literally just talk about each ingredient in the style of fun. And that then combines my creativity of why I made this drink, obviously. And I just talk my way through it and make them connect and then go. And I talk and move my hands at the same time. That keeps you together. You can't just stand there and talk to me because that's awkward. Do something with your
Step one, don't be a robot. Yes. Okay. Got it. Yeah. Okay. I do want to ask you before we're done today, what do you think about some of the developments we've seen in kind of the low and no alcohol scene? It seems like people are drinking less. It seems like there's some theories about that. Maybe it's younger people are turning away from alcohol. Maybe people are more health conscious. Maybe we all just drank a little too much in COVID. We're trying to dry out. Who knows? But it does seem like throughout all the like different news sources, I'm seeing a lot of people saying consumption's down.
Optimist again. It's just a moment. It's I don't believe one generation is going to stop thousands of years of drinking. I believe we just are in an option phase, which we didn't have a lot of option, and it was just water or a juice and then a bevy. But now we have like a whole nother menu to look at, and that's cool. I do have some Gen Z friends who, when they hear we're not drinking, they say that's a lie because we are drinking. We're just particular on what we're drinking.
Yeah, we're not drinking all the crap you guys drink.
We're not drinking like y'all were drinking.
Yeah. Jungle juice, we're good. We're gonna have some nice stuff. Yeah.
We were consuming whatevs, and so yeah, those numbers did look a little insane, and we had that lovely wave of baby boomers and even our parents and that whole whiskey phase, and the martini thing. Like it's just a movement. So I think zero proof and low, I'm here for it. There's a balance of it because just because they're not drinking doesn't mean they're not having CBD beverages, which I think is also just another space. I think we should be clear about what zero proof means. Zero means I'm not drinking. It doesn't mean I'm not drinking something else. And so being particular about that is like, oh, you're not having a drink? Like, no, I'm having a CBD can of lemon drop. And I'm like, well, shit, you're drinking. You are drinking something. You're just choosing not to be approved. I think it's just an era of kind of ciphering out options. And I think it's just a phase. Honestly, yeah. Sorry, everybody. You're talking to a boozy girl, though, so I don't see it flying off the shelf slower.
We are asking the drinking coach.
I'm the wrong one. I get it. I respect it. I like it. But people who are not drinking, I'm sorry, I don't see them ordering zero proof cocktails. My honey is not a drinker. Well, that's a lie again. My honey drinks with me. My honey's particular about it. My honey wants a wine. My honey's thinking like, I'll have a zero proof beer is her vibe. But a cocktail, when she orders it, she's super particular. It needs to be quality.
My wife too. Yeah.
Quality. Like she's like, if it's not, the Martinez of her dreams, then she's like, she's judgy. She's judgy McJudgy the way I am, probably because of me too. But no, she was like that before I met her. It's just the time of going, you know what? It's not, I'm not drinking. It's just, can you make me a good drink?
The amount of drinks out there that are just too sweet, it like always.
It's always been like that, though. Can we say fair? I, myself, you, a few of our comrades are good bartenders because they make good drinks. Even in my best prime, there were bars that were right next to me that I'd go to the bar and I'm like, that's not a good drink, And we're kind of tailoring that menu and not properly executing the ingredients. But there's not good drinks out right now.
There it is, yeah. I like the take that it might just be a transitory thing, just a phase. Are you familiar with Aaron Goldfarb? He wrote a book, Dusty Booze. No. It's really cool. It's all about like vintage spirits in the world. But the thing that struck with me really, for whatever reason, bourbon, they just kept making it even when people weren't consuming it. There's a huge trend where people just turned away from it. And so a lot of the old bottles you find are like old school bourbons that have like been hid away. And it's not true of tequila. And he actually went and interviewed a master distiller and he's like, why is that true? And the guy was like, the arrogant answer, people drink it all. It's like, fair enough,
Yeah.
So they didn't have that weird like wave, but we might just be in a weird wave where people are drinking less, and 30 years from now, we're going to come back and have some extra bottles that have some age on them.
I definitely agree. The same from bourbon is the same with cognac. Cognac is one of my favorite spirits to not only consume, but just to love its science and love for the French. And if you've ever been to cognac, anybody been to cognac, and you go to a distillery, they're just sitting on barrels of cognac and brandy. And it's not because it's not good stuff. People just are not consuming cognac in volume. I hope to see a beautiful trend come through in the next couple of years that will be a beautiful base spirit for a lot of cocktails. That was the top 3 spirit to use pre-prohibition, and in all the vintage cocktails that we love, it was dark rum, it was whiskey of sorts, and it was a cognac or a brandy. And so I want to see more of that in our bars now, cognac based or brandy based cocktails, because why not? But they're sitting on it, and it's literally because people are not consuming it as much as they should.
Yeah. And I mean, even more than just cognac, grape distillate. Like, there's a whole world. There's pisco. There's so much you can do, and it's like it is so much more user friendly than even vodka, I think, because the people that are just starting drinking, it's got this florality. They got these secondary notes. Like, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I've talked to people, and they're like, every year I say, this year pisco's coming back, and it's like, nope.
I'm with you. I long to have an event. I've shared this out loud. Many have heard me say it, but if anyone tags it, that's cool. The greatest show on earth. And I want it to be a freaking circus. And I want every grape distillate you can think of that we can taste. From pisco to grappa and to just, obviously cognac and even, vodkas and wine. I want us to understand that grape is doing a damn good job. And that grape deserves to be loved on it. It's phenomenal.
Yep. I agree. Well, Tiffanie, is there anything we missed? Anything you'd be remiss if we didn't cover before our time comes to an end?
I think I probably said it all in all, but don't forget those stories. Everybody's got a story. All of us have a story. Share it. Write it down. Document it. Do some rabbit holes. Get weird. I do see some cool menus that get weird, but get weird. Get weirder. Create from something really cool that you're into to keep your menu and also yourself very creative. Honor the ancestor, as always. Yeah, and you don't have to stick with trends. Drink what you please. I'm going to do dumplings and gumbo and tacos today. You should do that.
There's a tagline.
Live your life. Yeah, category live. No, I just want folks to really just keep it weird. And as all these things keep coming towards us, there's still so many things, us as bartenders, that we can be beyond hospitality. Yes, be hospitable, but get funky, get relatable with what's going on. Politics will always be here, so there's that. But be relatable in what you're doing. Please, it keeps us in a good space. And I've written a book. It'll come out in September.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, keep me in mind. Come back on when you did. I would love to read it. I'd love to have you on again.
Yeah, I'd
showcase
love to.
it.
Love to. It's a big one.
That's really exciting. I do want to say to that, trends start somewhere. So if you do what's true to you, you never know.
Yeah.
Trends always end in one place. Like you said at the end, be hospitable, take care of the guests. They're the reason we're here. It all doesn't make any sense if someone isn't sitting down and ordering your cocktail on the end of the day. So, yeah. Tiffanie, where should someone who's listening go to find out more about you and follow what you do?
Yeah.
Online?
I'm the drinking coach on Instagram. That's my favorite platform. Sorry, I'm not trending on Threads or the other things. It's not my vibe, but Instagram is fun.
Yeah.
And you can email me, hit my website at thedrinkingcoach.com. I also have Barriere Collective. Barriere Collective is an agency that pretty much does more strategic work on the corporate side. So if you need some of that, holler at me. I got the brain.
Yeah. Well, Tiffanie Barriere, everyone. It was a pleasure to have you on. It was a pleasure to get to know you.
Thanks so much.
That's the show, my friends. Thank you for listening to Serves You Right. If you have not checked it out, go to servesyouRightPod.com to see what we're up to, see old episodes, and so much more. All right. I'll see you next time.